Good morning, third graders. As you may have heard, we're going to be doing art a little differently from here on out. I will be sending videos to your classroom teachers and you will be accessing them through your classroom teachers. So we won't be meeting any longer on Zoom, and instead we'll be having art in this way. So as you know, we are on our final day of finishing up our favorite things project, which we started with making a list of all of our favorite things, things that we could not live without, and we chose our 4 most important things that we wanted to include in our art. And we took a look at several famous artists that have used words in their art. One that we know from kindergarten and first grade that we've studied before is Andy Warhol. And he was known for a style of art called pop art, and he used a lot of words as part of his artistic expression. Another artist that is very well known is Robert Indiana, and he became most famous for using the word love in his artwork. And he used it in a lot of different ways as paintings, and he also created sculptures with that word. And we've already done our creative brainstorming and wrote down all the things that we love, and we tried to narrow it down to a few that we just could not imagine ourselves living without. And those are the words we're going to be using for this piece of art. As you can see, I made a list of 10 ideas, and then I chose 4 that I really wanted to include in my artwork. So I put a star or a circle next to those. Then I realized that a few of my words were a little bit longer and might be difficult to fit into the boxes that I've created for my art. So then I went through some brainstorming and tried to come up with some words that might be shorter that would work better. So for instance, the word painting is a word that is 8 letters. And so instead, I went through and I wrote paint, artist, color, and creative, and I chose to use color instead because it's shorter and it will fit better in my artwork. So now I want you to look back at your own list, and if you have any words that are longer like I did, maybe think of a shorter word that could be used instead, or try to think of a way to maybe use a different word from the list that you also like and get it narrowed down to 4 of your most favorite ideas. And we're actually going to start putting those into the boxes that we've created on our paper. Today we're going to be making art inspired by words. Holding your paper horizontally, fold it in half. Then open it back up and fold each of the halves in half. Be sure the outer edge of the paper reaches the center fold line. If you folded it correctly, it should give you 4 equal sections. Now turn your paper vertically and fold it in half again. Open it back up and fold each half in so that it meets up with the center line. Here's where it might get a little tricky. Look closely. I'm folding each half in so that it gives me 4 equal sections from the edge of the paper to the middle of the paper. So I fold it in half, I fold that half in half, then I close it one more time and fold it in half one last time. So it should give me 8 equal sections going across my paper. All of this folding might make your paper curl up a little. So what I did is I flipped my paper over and I folded it back the opposite direction along the horizontal lines, and that helped to flatten it back out. Perfect. Now we should have a total of 32 boxes with 7 lines going down our paper and 3 lines going across our paper. So our next job is to choose one dark colored marker and carefully and slowly trace along each of the folded lines. It might look like I'm going too fast, but I just put the camera in time lapse so that you could see it faster and it wouldn't take so long to show you. Our paper is only 8 boxes across, so now our job is to look at all 4 of our favorite words and make sure that they're all less than 8 letters. And if they aren't, we may have to choose a different word from our list or come up with a shorter word to mean the same thing as something that we really want to include. All of my words are 8 letters or less. My first word is nature. N-A-T-U-R-E. As you can tell, I'm trying hard to make sure the letter is nice and big and fills up the entire rectangle. This will help to hide our secret messages. My next word is tacos. T-A-C-O-S. My next word is colors. C-O-L-O-R-S. And my last word is family. F-A-M-I-L-Y. If you want to fill in the empty boxes with some symbols, you can do that too. I chose to add some and symbols into mine. You might choose to leave the boxes blank or add some symbols too. It's your choice because it's your art. Now it's time for color. And as I'm coloring my letters, I want to make sure that I'm coloring them to help hide the letters. So I want to use multiple colors in and around each letter inside of every rectangle box. This will still make my words readable, but you may have to look a little closer with your artist eyes to find them. As I'm choosing colors, I like to pick colors that are different from the ones next to them to make my picture look more interesting and colorful. Have fun! I can't wait to see your finished word art. Another way you can divide your paper up into equal sections to create spaces for each word and letter is by folding your paper in half and tracing that line with a ruler, and then just estimating about halfway between that folded line and the edge of your paper and drawing 2 more straight lines. This should give you 4 equal sections. Your next step is to fold your paper the opposite way and crease it. Trace that line with a pencil and a ruler, and then fold that half in until it meets the middle and trace that line with a pencil and a ruler. Repeat on the opposite side. So now we have 4 equal sections going across, and we need to turn those into 8. So basically we just need to split each one in half. We're going to use our ruler to find the middle point and draw a line going straight down. Just keep it as equal as possible. It's okay if it's not perfect. Our last step is to choose a dark colored marker and slowly and carefully trace all of our pencil lines. This will prepare our paper for the special words we're going to be adding to create our word art. Now, just to get organized, I'm going to rewrite the 4 words I wanted to use for my word art today. And I'm going to write how many letters are in each word at the end. If I end up with a word that is too long, more than 8 letters, I'll have to think of a different word to use instead. Now that I have all my words figured out, I'm going to do one last thing to practice and get ready. I'm going to create a small grid. You can do this on your whiteboard or on a scrap paper. And I'm going to practice trying to make the letters big so that they fill the entire rectangle. This can be a little trickier than it seems, so I like to do a little practicing before I get started on my final paper. Okay, now you're ready to get started on your own word art. Have fun! Here's another artist that we actually studied in kindergarten and first grade, named Paul Klee, and you might remember one of his famous paintings. It was called Castle in the Sun, and it had a big colorful castle with geometric shapes and a bright red sky, and we weren't sure if it was a sun or a moon unless the title told us. That kind of gave it away. So here's another picture that the same artist created, and this time he used a special message in words to kind of create his art around. So if you look closely, you can maybe start to see some of those letters and words that he used, but he tried to hide them by using lots of different colors around each letter. And some of the letters are very hard to find with our artist eyes because they're so well hidden with so many different colors that surround them. And that's what I would like you to do when you start coloring yours. Here are a few more pieces of artwork by the same artist, Paul Klee, that I thought might inspire your color choices, or even the way that you choose to write your letters inside of the boxes. Maybe not all of your letters are straight up and down. Maybe you have some of them on angles, or you even turn them sideways to really hide your messages. It just depends on what you choose as an artist.